All right. Hi, everybody. We're going to give everybody a second to join and then we'll go ahead and get started today. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So, hi, everybody, and welcome to this month's Six to Doc session entitled New Year, New Me. Today, we're going to talk about fitness, sleep, how it affects your period, and all that fun stuff going into the new year. We're joined here with Dr. Janine from Active Family Wellness. Um,
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Dr. Janine, a chiropractor in Fairfax, Virginia area, Northern Virginia area. And I'm super excited to be here tonight to shed some great information, shed some light so that we can all learn and grow and be better for this new year.
Amazing. All right, let's get started, guys. All right, so just to give a little disclaimer before we started, Love Your Mentis, we provide general education to empower adolescents and adults to take charge of their health and wellness. Please note that the information provided is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, but our mission is to always educate and empower adolescents and adults to strive for equitable health. And so the information provided in this training is for general information purposes only.
Mhm.
So before we begin, we do want to make some distinctions about menstruation and let you know that it is not a disease or illness. It's a natural bodily process that many people experience and is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. And at Love Your Menses, we say the more we talk about menstruation and have a healthy dialogue, the more we can break period stigma. And to love your menses is to be in tune with your menstrual cycle, to advocate for equitable resources and safe spaces to menstruate, to support other people who menstruate, and to flow through life unapologetically. And every month, over 1.8 billion people across the world menstruate. So I promise you're not alone. And it's a public health and human rights issue in the US. And menstrual cycles, they don't stop during the pandemic, they don't stop during job insecurity, and period poverty has only increased over the past couple of years. So it's really important that we use organizations like Love Your Menses that are part of a growing menstrual equity movement in the country to end period poverty, provide menstruation education, address stigma and menstrual myths, ensure that people have access to healthcare resources, and empower a generation of unapologetic menstruators. And with that, again, let's say hi to Dr. Janine. We're going to get started here.
Yes.
Okay, so new year, new me. So the big thing with new year, you're making new goals. You want to eat right, you want to sleep better, you want to improve your diet. But what you do know, you know it's going to better your body, better your spirit. But how does it affect your period and how does your period affect it? So we're here with Dr. Janine to talk a little bit more about how fitness, sleep, and diet affect your period and how your period is affected by it. So, to start off, Dr. Janine, our first question is how do your energy levels and strength change during the different stages of the menstrual cycle? And should you try to tailor your exercise and fitness to your menstrual cycle?
Yes, so 100% you can. And the big part of it is I just wanted to quickly break down the cycles first, or the cycle, I guess, and the days and what that looks like, so that we all are on the same page with that. So when we start, it starts with let's start with, we're going to talk about the menstrual cycle. That's usually from day 1 to day 5 or 7. This is in your follicular phase of your cycle. And then after that, we go into the proliferative phase, which is the other part of the follicular phase of the cycle, and that's from day 6 to day 13. Then we go into ovulation, which is day 14 to 17, and we end off with the luteal phase. So with talking about energy and strength training, a big part is, I didn't even realize this, and I've been strength training for about around 9 to 10 years now. And I wish I knew this sooner, honestly. I didn't know this until maybe 2 years ago. When you are the week before your menstrual cycle and during your menstrual cycle, we actually need to take in approximately 87 to 287 more calories. This is because your body goes into a starvation mode and it's getting ready for the menstrual cycle. We actually need to be eating more. Your body sends you a signal of this of the week before when you start getting cravings, you're like, oh, everything looks so good. Now, of course, we don't want to give in to every single craving. We want to be healthy with that as well. But there's a reason why your body's sending you a signal. Your body is so smart. It tries to tell you exactly what you need and when you need it. We just do a bad job of listening to it, which I'm 100% guilty of. So listening to your body is a really big thing to do with it. Now, during that time, the week before and during, is when you do not want to do cardio, because already you're more often than not increasing your amount of calories that you need. So that's why if you do cardio on top of that, your body will go into starvation mode. Then you start to feel really tired, really low in energy. During this time, during that follicular phase, what you can really do is focus on resistance training. So this is, if I were to broaden it, probably from day 0 all the way to day 14. Focus on strength training. Then after that, so the week before your menstrual cycle, after that you can go back to cardiovascular training. So during the ovulation and luteal phase, this is where you have more energy. This is where you can take on the more cardiovascular training so that you can work your heart.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. And so with that, going off of that, do you think that when you exercise and on your period, do you think that there's potentials for over exercising at certain points of your period that you should look out for? Kind of similar to not doing cardio during certain parts of your cycle. Could overexerting affect your period in any sort of way?
Yeah, it can. Studies have shown that when women are either doing vigorous activity 4 to 5 times a week or more, that it can cause a missed period or a delayed period. But the big part of it is consistency. Unless you're a high performing athlete or a competitive weightlifter, something like that, they have studies with that where it does affect your period. Now, we do want to be more active, because being more active in general, and I'm talking about 150 minutes 3 to 4 times a week of moderate intensity, is shown to actually help regulate your cycle and decrease your PMS symptoms, because this will actually help to enhance your mood and release those good neurotransmitters that we feel that help us feel good too. So that's one way your body can help you regulate as well.
Gotcha. Gotta listen to your body.
Yes, that's key. That's really, really key. One big thing. What are the 5 most dangerous words in healthcare? Maybe it will go away.
Yeah.
Right? I'll put 2 hands up for me being like, oh, I've woken up with pain before or something's going on. And maybe it'll go away and we don't do anything to check on it. So the biggest thing is checking.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so now I want to talk a little bit about some of the benefits that exercising could cause while you're on your period. Could exercise potentially change how your period acts, how your flow is during your period, your PMS symptoms, anything like
Yeah,
that?
so it definitely can. It is encouraged to exercise regularly, whatever time of the month it may be. Now, what I said before with the strength training and the cardiovascular, that's one thing you want to separate, but don't not exercise at all. And I know I have been there where there's just those days you wake up and you don't want to do anything. And that's okay. It's okay where you want to take a rest day or you want to take 2 rest days or 3 rest days. No one's perfect. Let me start with that and let me say that again. Nobody is perfect. Nobody's striving to be perfect. Listening to your body is key. Having some sort of regular exercise, it doesn't have to be in the gym. It doesn't have to be if you like boxing, if you like XYZ, any type of activity, just being physically active, going for a walk, 30 minutes. You can start with 5 to 10 minutes. Going for a walk daily, that in itself has shown to stimulate areas of your brain that actually decreases anxiety and depression. So even just getting on a walk to be physically active, because a lot of us are sitting down, and sitting is like the new smoking, where it's really, really getting to our health. We want to make sure that we're active.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotta get
And
it
this will
in.
change your flow. The more you regulate exercise into your schedule, the more your body will regulate your period.
Gotcha.
Yes.
It's all leading into each other, which is what we love.
Everything is connected.
It is. Also, on that same note, how do you think that nutrition plays a role? What should I focus on when trying to eat a proper diet to sort of sustain myself during different parts of my period or my menstrual cycle? What do you think about that?
Yeah. So nutrition plays key. I always say abs aren't made in the gym, right? It's 70% nutrition, 30% the gym. So the big thing about exercising and growing muscle and whatever your goal is, whether it's weight loss, whether it's getting more toned, whether it's putting on more muscle, whether it's actually putting on bulking season, whatever it is, you want to make sure that there are certain things you eat at certain parts of phases of your cycle. Menstrual cycle, so day 1, 2, 5, 7, around there, you want to focus on healthy fats. Healthy fats like avocados are a healthy fat, wild caught salmon. You also want to focus on omega 3s, magnesium, iron. So, some examples you can do ground flax seeds, hemp seeds, grass fed ground beef. Grass fed if you do eat meat. Sweet potatoes, too, are a great option. So, this is where you want to incorporate these foods during that first part. So, when you first start your period. So then the follicular phase the week after, what you want to focus on is your leafy greens and probiotics. So things such as like arugula, salads, pumpkin seeds, chicken, eggs. Those are good foods to incorporate at this part of the cycle. Then when you go into your ovulation, so say day 14 to around day 17, this is where you want to make sure that you are trying to detox the excess estrogen in there. So you want to do things like broccoli, cauliflower, tuna, yogurt, matcha. So these are ways that it'll help detox that estrogen. And lastly, in the luteal phase, you want potassium and magnesium rich foods to help counter the increase in progesterone that's going to happen. So bananas, quinoa, spinach, wild caught salmon. Salmon's actually really good. Fish in general, you want to make sure it is wild caught though. There's different times that it's in season, and I usually go to Whole Foods. I always ask them if it's wild caught and if it's out there. Costco actually has some good stuff where they have a big pack for a good price of grass-fed ground beef. Also, their chicken there too isn't injected with anything, so that's a good place. Another place I get chicken from as well.
Nice. Gotta love
Yeah.
Costco.
Yeah, keeps the cost low, right?
It does. We have a question from Fabian about any options if you're vegetarian. Um,
Yeah, so a big part with vegetarian is you want to make sure with tofus and things like that, you want to make sure you're being a little careful with soy products because some of them can actually elevate that estrogen as well. So a big thing that will help is actually seed cycling, having certain types of seeds during certain parts of your menstrual cycle. So when I mentioned earlier the follicular phase, that pumpkin seeds, that can also help regulate through it. Those salads, that leafy greens. You can do a lot of the vegetarian options, but focusing with it on certain points, as long as with the luteal you're doing potassium, magnesium rich. Spinach is just example, but there's a whole bunch of other potassium, magnesium rich foods that can help that are vegetarian. And then healthy fats in the beginning. So that you're going to roll into that, into your healthy fats. And in the middle, you want to have leafy greens probiotics to make it very simple.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Natural probiotics also really help. Kimchi, sauerkraut, stuff like that. Our gut is so, so important. It holds 85% of our immune system. So taking care of our gut means a colorful plate. A colorful plate that has diversity from week to week. So if every week you're having broccoli, our body needs diversity. So try switching it up. Maybe come back to broccoli next month and then try doing that.
Mhm. We have a question from Oveda in the audience. It says, you mentioned exercising can regulate your cycle. Does this help if you have infrequent cycles?
Yes, I actually dealt with this myself. I was infrequent, irregular for a long time, and it is something that I struggled with. Nutrition is something that helped, I'm gonna say point blank, more so than the exercising. I had different fitness goals though, so I was really trying to weight lift and lift more and lift more. So that I feel affected my flow as well, because the more rigorous you get with your activity, yes, you studies have shown you can miss your period or it makes it delayed. So making sure that the week of your period and the week before that you're just being consistent with it and you're not doing too much cardiovascular activity.
Gotcha. And we have another question by Fabian asking about how if supplement pills are a good idea to replace some portions of your diet.
Yeah, supplementation is good. Just be careful about where you're getting your supplements from and always do your research. I always say if you get it from your food, it's always the best because, say, for example, if you take a food, it's not just giving you the one vitamin, but it's giving you multiple vitamins and minerals rather than just taking the one vitamin C or vitamin D supplementation or magnesium or iron or whatever it is. Yeah, you're only getting that one vitamin versus getting a whole different bunch of it. So if there's ways you can incorporate in your food, do that first. Smoothies are great. Smoothies are absolutely amazing. I love doing that. And you can put your ground flax in your smoothies as well during your menstrual phase of your cycle too. But yeah.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to move back over to the fitness side of things and ask a little bit how chiropractic care can help regulate your period and how that affects things.
Yeah, so a quick little background on what chiropractic is. So a big part of what chiropractic is it's your brain, spinal cord, and nerves that's a part of your nervous system. So this right here is your nervous system, and your nerves that are in your spine control everything in your body. So it's not just your muscles, but also all of the organs. So a big part of it, I'm gonna scooch this in a little bit, is your reproductive right over here.
Mm-hmm.
So with chiropractic, what we do is we take a look at the spine and we look for what is called a subluxation. A subluxation is a misalignment of that spine. So that misalignment can impact, will impact your nervous system. And whether it be tomorrow or a month from now or a couple years from now, can start showing signs in your body. A big thing that gets missed is who checks your spine outside of a chiropractor? Nobody. What causes these subluxations? Stress. 3 different stresses in specific. It's physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. Mental stress is our biggest one. Mental stress, we really hold all of it in our spine and in our nervous systems, and our nervous systems learn over time. So with the adjustment, what we aim to do is actually slowly correct this over time so that we can gain proper alignment, and the nerves that are sitting on the side here can talk not only to your muscles but to your organs the way it needs to. So we're just taking away interference from that nervous system so that your body can do what it was designed to do and heal from the inside out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And that actually provides a good transition over to our conversation about sleep and stress.
Yes.
And so I think with the new year, I think the biggest thing, especially in the wintertime, is stress levels rise as the sunlight goes away. Um,
Yes. Yep.
that's the biggest thing,
Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
unfortunately. So what are some ways that you think would help people mitigate stress during different points of their period and menstrual cycle?
Yeah.
Just from a holistic standpoint.
Yeah. A holistic standpoint. So there's a bunch of things because it's really a lifestyle change. Like it's a lifestyle thing where certain foods, um, sleep specifically, I would say, and dealing with stress. Let me start with the stress one first. The system in your body that helps you deal with stress is your nervous system, because your nervous system is split into your what we call your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system. So I can show you on this chart here with your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. Your sympathetic nervous system, a lot of us know as your fight and flight. So your heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, everything goes up. Your parasympathetic is known as your rest and digest. You know how you get a little sleepy after you eat?
Mm-hmm.
That's because your body is trying to digest that food. So your parasympathetic side of your nervous system goes up. So what we want to do, health in general, dealing with stress in general, is health is our body's ability to adapt to change, aka stress. So in order to mitigate what we feel with the anxiety, with the depression, vitamin D supplementation is huge. If you can get it naturally through your food first, kudos to you. But vitamin D is one thing we get from sunlight in the summer, which makes us feel all nice and cozy and warm. That is what we lack a lot during the winter time. So as soon as we start to lose that sun, I always incorporate vitamin D. It also is very good for overall immune health to keep you healthy, because a lot of people tend to get sick around this time of year as well. Big thing with sleep, a schedule. Following a schedule, getting to bed at the same time every day and waking up at the same time every day, even if it's the weekend, is key, because your body learns when to release melatonin at night, which is what helps you sleep, and then when to actually wake up in the morning. A big thing, try not to look at your screen before you sleep, because that light coming from your screen, whether it be your phone, whether it be your laptop, whether it be the TV or anything like that, actually triggers the point in your brain that tells your body that it's daytime. Our body, our internal clock, is regulated by light. So when we get that light at night, our body thinks it's awake. Then we're going to keep staying up, and then our mind is racing and we're anxious and XYZ. The next morning when we wake up, the biggest thing every morning is to get at least 10 minutes of sunlight on you, whether it be the summer or whether it be the winter. When you wake up in the morning, that will really help you get energized for the day as well and make you feel more calm. Breathing, slow, nice and slow breathing. If any of my homies out there have done yoga, You know, that deep breathing that they do, that deep belly breathing, that really helps also boost your parasympathetic nervous system. A study has shown actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of this heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is tracked through Oura rings nowadays, through your smartwatches. It's a good indicator of overall health that'll tell you whether you're stuck in sympathetic or stuck in parasympathetic. So there was a study that came out that said that we what we experience with the PMS symptoms the week before are actually our bodies, the heart rate variability showed. It's so hard for us to go into that parasympathetic, that rest and relax, that rest and digest that our body needs that week before. So it's already hard for our bodies to try and regulate that. So any little thing that we can do will really, really help. Making sure your bedroom's cool, making sure that you're using any hot packs to reduce those cramps as well. If it's during that time, raspberry tea leaf has really been shown to help with that as well. And also, no electronics, like I was saying. Reading before you go to sleep is a good option.
Nice. And how long would you say that people should put their phones down before they go to bed?
At least I would say minimum half an hour. Like what would be really good is an hour before. If an hour before you can just not look at your phone, not watch TV to try and fall asleep because your mind will be more stimulated at that point. You want to make sure that you're trying not to do any of that. Um, Books are a good option. I sometimes what helps me is also like white noise is a good option as well. If you just can't stay in the silence and you have a hard time falling asleep. The biggest thing that patients have reported in our clinic here is getting adjusted, because getting adjusted helps you with your overall stress, because this is the system that helps you deal with stress. This is the system that helps your body heal from the inside out the way it was designed to heal, because it's just naturally opening up for your spine, your nerves to communicate from your spinal cord to your body and back up to your brain so that it knows and your body learns what exactly to do.
Gotcha. Thanks. Um, and then I had another question about in getting good sleep and getting enough sleep every night. How much sleep would you say that we should aim to
Mm.
get every night? And I know it's a hard one.
It's a hard one. This is the hard truth I'm going to tell you guys right now, because I hear from a lot of patients, oh, I've been getting 5 hours of sleep for the past 6 years. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, 8 to 9 hours of sleep minimum. Women actually are shown to need more sleep than men. 8 to 9 hours is minimum that your body needs to be able to heal and deal with the day's stresses.
Gotcha. And do you think taking melatonin supplements to help you go to sleep if you can't is something that you should try to do, or try to stay away from it?
So I yes, melatonin is really helpful. It is. And it can help increase that naturally in your body, but the thing is you don't want to get dependent on it, because if you, for example, try to take it every day, then your body isn't going to naturally produce it the way it's supposed to produce it. So say you've had a really busy weekend, you had a couple of late nights, it's Sunday night, you're trying to go to sleep, you can't sleep, you got 5 meetings back to back the next morning, something like that, then that's fine. That's okay.
Gotcha.
Yes, melatonin will definitely help. But the bigger part is making sure you're getting on a schedule so that your body learns, so that you don't have to add anything or take anything away, so that your body can naturally start to regulate. And natural regulation comes from nutrients in our food, and natural regulation comes from chiropractic with the adjustments.
Gotcha. Cool. And then I also wanted to ask about how your quality of sleep kind of changes during different points of the menstrual cycle.
Yes.
So again, the week
Yep.
before, it's harder to rest fully, but
Mm-hmm.
also the week of PMS symptoms and that sort of thing
Yeah.
affecting sleep.
Yep. Yep. So during different parts of your cycles where specifically progesterone is increased, like after ovulation, women usually tend to feel more sleepy. So during those points, listen to your body. If it's like you're looking at the clock and it's 8 o'clock and you're like, man, it's early, but I'm tired, go to bed. So listen to your body is the biggest thing with that. So yes, there are certain parts where you'll feel more sleepy, but most women who have trouble sleeping at different parts have problems just before and after the start of their menstruation as well. So 30% actually have reported disturbed sleep during, and 23 disturbed sleep the week prior, as you were just saying. So using a hot pack to help with the cramps, getting adjusted to help with the cramps. There's a specific adjustment that we do for while you are um, on your menstrual cycle and the week before, to make sure that we can help with those cramps. And then the raspberry leaf tea is also a big one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I kind of want to link everything together. Do you think that fitness kind of affects how much sleep that you can get during your period? Does working out make you sleepier,
Oh,
make you more
yes.
wide awake?
So, it depends. It depends on this one. It depends on whether you're a morning working out person or a nighttime working out person. It also depends. We have a wide variety. Everybody's so different, right? Everybody has different PMS symptoms. They experience a bunch of different things with the headaches, the cramps, and everything else with those symptoms. So a big part of that is making sure that, for me, I can work out at 10 p.m. at night and I'll sleep like a baby. So if you've noticed a pattern where you're working out later in the day and you can't get sleep, try and make that workout earlier in the day. That will also really help you. For me, working out makes me more tired, which helps me fall asleep easier. So finding that schedule and that routine for you, but it takes some time for your body to learn. So say you just work out at random times of the day, as long as it's same time, same days, week to week, like on Monday, this is your schedule. So you work at 6 a.m. Okay. Tuesday, this is your schedule. So you work it at 3 p.m. Your body learns that schedule from week to week. So we also say the same thing with getting adjusted, same thing with your circadian rhythm of going to sleep, waking up at the same time, and sleeping at the same time. Getting adjusted, same time, same days, week to week. So it depends obviously on what we find and stuff. But with that parasympathetic that I was talking about earlier, getting adjusted will actually helps to decrease that sympathetic and help you get towards being on the line between sympathetic and parasympathetic, so you can help regulate.
Gotcha.
To be able to get good quality sleep, your body has to be able to go into parasympathetic, because that's your rest and digest. A lot of us get stuck in that sympathetic, and that's why we have a lot of sleep issues going on. So this is a heart rate variability scan, and that little white square is you. So you want to be on the line so you can ebb and flow between the two. When you're stuck way over in one or over in the other, that's when we see signs and symptoms of our body of, it takes me 2 hours to fall asleep. I wake up 5 times a night and I'm just not getting good quality sleep. If you're not getting good quality sleep, your body can't heal. If your body can't heal, your body can't regulate.
Sure. And speaking of which, do you think that there's different injury risks when sleeping and working out at different points in your period, or is it sort of about the same throughout the whole time?
With injury risks, biggest part of injury is previous injury.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing right there. If you've had an injury before and you either haven't rehabbed it, well, if you didn't see a professional to make sure that you rehab that well, and when I mentioned it earlier, when I was saying maybe it will go away and you just did one of those, right? Which a lot of us do. I'm guilty of
Yeah.
that too. Make sure that you are getting checked. So the biggest thing is getting checked by a chiropractor, getting your spine checked, getting your nervous system checked, but also getting checked by your doctor, getting checked by a physiotherapist, getting checked to make sure that that injury from before, one, has healed, two, won't rehappen again, and three, has been rehabbed all the way properly so that when you are going to work out, whether it's the week before, whether it's during your period, that that injury won't reoccur. The biggest thing though that a lot of people miss is not getting checked. Okay, so and everything starts and ends with your spine because it's literally your nervous system because your brain is literally a part of that, and your brain is your master control system in your body. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Thanks. And we have a question. Is there a sleepiness associated with menopause as well?
Yes, I have seen different patients in here report that too. And with that, a big part are those hormones being regulated, right? Your hormones being regulated are all over the place. So some women do experience that extra sleepiness. A big part of that is your diet and your exercise. So I know I'm might be starting to sound like a broken record here, but it is all of those things, right? It's not just one thing. So making sure that we're getting adequate exercise, making sure that we're eating a well-balanced diet, making sure that we're supplementing when we need to, for example, vitamin D in the wintertime, making sure that we're getting that sunlight, making sure that we're getting on a sleep schedule, making sure that we're getting adjusted or our spine checked or getting checked for your health is super, super important because everybody is different and an exam needs to be done to make sure we can see what needs to be done, if anything does need to be done, and how it can achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
Gotcha. Thank you. We have another question from the audience about how do I know if my sleepiness is because of my period or if there's something else going on?
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but uh, getting checked. So getting checked is the biggest thing. But even before that, making sure that you track down. Tracking everything down is super, super important. So if sleep is a big part where you're like, wow, I really get sleepy during this week, but not during this week, what part of your cycle are you in at that point? What did you do the week before? What did you eat the week before? What did you eat that day, the day before? Tracking that and then seeing if you notice a trend will help you out a lot more to get a baseline. So once you start tracking that, then you'll be able to even hone in on being like, okay, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But also getting checked to see, okay, is there something deeper going on? Or is it just something I can regulate through a routine and a schedule?
Gotcha. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. So I believe that's all we have for today. So just want to
Okay.
give
Amazing.
everybody's takeaways. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you first of all. You've been
No, of
amazing, Dr.
course. Yeah. Oh, thank you. If there's any other way I can help, any other questions, here at Active Family Wellness, we are on a mission and we are on a mission of getting the word to let people know to get healthier from the inside out because this is just what naturally happens with your body. We're not adding anything, we're not taking it away, but this is what goes on for your body to heal itself from the inside out. So I only do this at my workshops. So just for this point, I do want to extend the offer of anybody who does want to get their spine checked and their nervous system checked because there could be things hiding in there that you just don't know because you've never gotten checked before, that first visit and the first half of the second visit is going to be at our expense. If you want to put your name and number down in the chat, and either Jackson or somebody can give me those names and numbers, and I can get my CAs in here to get in contact with you to get you on the schedule, just so that you can get your spine and nervous system checked. And I know it's so important because there have been patients in here where they've had trouble getting pregnant, they've had trouble regulating their period, they've had trouble sleeping, energy, mood. 1 month or a month or two into getting adjusted, they've just seen tremendous results. And you can go and look us up on Google and read those reviews too of people's stories and how it's changed. And I didn't, I, I was, I was, before I became a chiropractor, I was like, oh, how does this work? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I've just seen it in here so many times to not spread the word that chiropractic can help you achieve your goals from the inside out.
Thanks. And as a
Yeah.
reminder, we do encourage everybody to go get checked. That's one thing we
Yes.
do mind. And
Yeah.
Dr. Janine and Active Family Wellness are based out of Fairfax, Virginia, if you would like to go in for a consultation.
Yes, of course. And any other questions you guys have, please don't be shy. You can reach out to me. I can send Jackson my email, and Jackson, you can let them know too. So if there's any other questions, I can always help you, no matter what. I'm here to educate. So
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, just final conclusions. I think the big takeaway is be consistent with everything.
yes,
Sleep,
yeah.
diet, exercise. I think the big thing going into the new year is just
hmm Getting
consistently.
adjusted, getting your
Mhm.
spine checked. So because that's what helps you deal with stress. Yes.
Yeah. So with
Yeah.
that, I want to thank everybody here for joining and have a great rest of your night.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.